Alright everybody, this is going to be the penultimate part of my Best of Next Fest 2025 edition. This is the last part that we did on stream plus a little bit after. The next part will be kind of my wrap up of all the other demos I still have in the backlog. So with that, here is yet even more fantastic demos and games you should be checking out. We're starting things off with Curtains the Clown. This is a kind of open world physics platformer where you play an alien named Curtains, who just so happens looks like a creepy clown. And with his ship out of fuel on a strange alien world, we're going to jump our way to getting off it. The structure of this one is that there's essentially 6 endings, at least from the demo. I don't know if there'll be more in the main game. Each item has a corresponding character or thing you're supposed to bring it back to, and of course the items are set up in different locales of varying difficulties and complexity of movement tech to get to them. So if you want to completely beat this game, you have to go through it 6 times in 6 different routes. Our platforming tech is focusing on simulated physics. You have a dash that you can activate, and when you're in the air, you can keep hitting the dash to add more acceleration. And I don't know if there's any cap to it. So you can use this to fling yourself quite a distance if you know what you're doing. Now of course it makes kind of micro adjustments or fine jumps a lot harder to do. And your job is just going to be to pick a route and try to get the item and then head back for the exit. It's a charming game, and it's definitely going to be on the challenging side with you having to adjust to the physics as you move around. Now with the demo, it's hard to tell kind of how complicated the other routes are going to be. We saw one route all the way through to its ending. But still, I think it's a charming take from, I think this is a solo developer. And if you're in the mood for a little open world platforming and aren't afraid of clowns, I would at least give this one a try. Now we go to Archon Soul. This is a dice deck building roguelike. You are battling monsters using the power of cards and dice, combined the 2 most effective forms of non-traditional roguelikes out there. How this one works is that you'll get access to different cards based on the character / class you choose. These cards are activated by rolling your dice. The dice themselves start out as kind of your standard fare, but you'll be able to modify them in 3 different ways. You can change the faces of them, so you can make a dice that's all 6s, all 9s, and etc. You can apply symbols to specific faces that can activate certain properties of cards or influence how the dice will roll. And then you have the skin of the dice that has its own unique effect, such as boosting the damage of spell cards, getting you health back, or in the case that we had in the demo, a dice that cannot be broken, combined with a card that does immense damage, but it's supposed to break the dice each time you use it, which cancels that out, so I just get free super damage every turn. This is one of those games that if you are a lover of the intricacies of building a successful deck and having all those combinations work in your favor, then you are definitely going to love this one. Now with all these systems at play, it does feel a touch slower compared to some of the other deck builders, such as Inscription, Slay the Spire, and so on. But definitely some really great fundamentals and mechanics that I saw here. So if you're a fan of decks, dice, cards, or all the above, it's a very easy recommendation, and one that I definitely want to play more of when it is out. Now we go to Homura Hime. This is a spectacle action game where you play as an exorcist who's trying to fight demons along with her incredibly adorable partner. And the 2 are going out into the world to save it by hacking, slashing, and bullet hell shooting at times around. Our gameplay here should be familiar to anyone who's played a Devil May Cry or a Bayonetta. You'll be running, dashing, and attacking in all manner of means with a combo meter, as well as trying to be as stylish as you can. Your main defense includes being able to dodge and parry. The parry is very important, as you can parry most attacks other than the ones that are flashing yellow, and you'll need to do this to kind of get openings on enemies, as each parry will allow you to kind of push at the enemy and set up for additional combos and more. The game boasts that you can go to a shop eventually to buy upgrades and I'm assuming more combos and abilities, but that was not available in the demo. What we have here is a very great looking and challenging action game. The boss fights are of course going to test your ability to read those patterns, as they can hit quite hard, and you'll need to once again figure out how to get in on those nasty hits. All in all, from our time with the demo, I didn't see anything that stood out as being new or different as an action game, but everything here is just very solid. So if you're in the mood for a whole lot of upper attacks or launchers and getting your stylish meter as high as it can, then I highly recommend you check this one out. Our next game, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Malleus Maleficarum. This is a Metroidvania where you play a woman who's apparently trying to fight monsters. And armed with it's a magic wand, even though it may look like a wrench in the pixel art. We're going to have to shoot and jump our way to do so. From our time in the demo, this is essentially your by-the-book Metroidvania. You'll explore, collect upgrades, and of course fight enemies in a variety of environments. Like our previous game, nothing here I would say is new or different for the formula, but there's a really solid proof of concept here. And I'm interested to see where things are going to go in the main game. So if you are not Metroidvania out yet, then I would at least give this one a try. And now we go to Bottom Up Beatdown Hostile Takeover. This is a 2D beat-em-up where you play a woman who one day her apartment gets knocked down by skeleton mobsters, and we take the only logical course of action: beat up everyone that's standing in our way to figure out who destroyed our home. Our gameplay here is definitely an elevated take on the beat-em-up formula. You have access to different attacks, your special meter, and you can also activate stronger attacks as well. That will enable you to do more damage, stun enemies longer, and try and get in as best you can. Now, a big aspect of the combat here is that you want to dodge through enemy attacks and hit them as soon as they're finished with their combo in order to stun them for a brief moment so you can then do more hits. The game will feature a co-op mode, different characters, each with their own way of fighting, range, and special moves, as well as a lot of challenge as well. I enjoyed this one. It feels really good once you learn the combat, especially making use of your special meter and special attacks to extend your combos and keep these enemies as launched as possible. Now, it does feel like it could be on the more challenging side. Enemies can hit you very fast, but it seems to be balanced by the fact that your health regenerates whenever you move into a new screen. So if you are someone looking for an action game to play alone or with a buddy, this is a very high recommendation and one I can't wait to check out more of when it's out. And now we switch over to Smash It Wild. This is a tactical take on volleyball meets dodgeball. You play animal teams who not only are farm, but get into very high-stakes games of volleyball. Our gameplay here is you'll pick from different animal teams, each character having access to different abilities as well as different upgrades, and you'll train them and then take them onto the court for matches. With the goal is to score a spike on the ground, but you can hit the opponent in order to do damage and make it hard for them to move around. The art style and aesthetics are really well done. My main issue is that the onboarding from the demo is non-existent, and it's very hard to understand just what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes characters take more damage by running, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you can completely weaken the enemy team and still end up losing. And if they can improve the onboarding, this could be another very interesting kind of sports roguelike that should be worth checking out. So I would give this one a try, but I would definitely wait to see if there's any improvements to a tutorial or just something to help you figure out just how to get those lovely spikes going on. And now we go to something a little bit easier to follow with Broomstick Exorcist. You play a woman who is going to clean up the ghosts by using, I guess, her enchanted broom to knock them all around. Our gameplay is side-scrolling action. In a weird way, it reminds me of the old Splatterhouse games, the original ones. But this is focusing on combat, as you'll use your broom and a variety of techniques and abilities to beat up all the ghosts that get in your way. Combat is centered around you having access to different special moves. Those are the icons you see in the bottom right. You can parry attacks provided you have guard, which is above your health, and you regain guard as you smack enemies. You also have kind of like your devil trigger move that enhances all your abilities, and I'm not quite sure if there's any like downside just to stay in it for as long as possible. Advanced Tech is about you chaining from your standard combo into one of your special moves to do increased damage. And really love the style and the charm in this one. The hand-drawn look definitely makes it pop, and the combat feels very solid once you get what you're doing. A big aspect of this is just being able to remember to make use of your combo chains as well as your special abilities. Since they recharge as you hit enemies, there's no point in trying to whore them. Just, fire them off and watch enemies go flying. The game boasts that there is going to be like a store or something you can buy or, upgrade your character with, but we did not get to see that in this demo. So I am curious about what kind of progression or upgrades will be in the main game, but still a really great concept, a really great foundation from what we saw. So if you're an action fan and you also like doing some cleaning as well, highly recommend you check this one out. And now we switch to something very different from our last game, Earth Must Die. This is a point-and-click adventure game where you play as Vivalik, which I think I may have butchered his name and will be disintegrated for in the process. He is the current leader of a powerful alien race, and he is going to have to try and wage war in order to keep his position. And this will also involve a lot of puzzle solving and a whole lot of profanity along the way. So this is a humorous point-and-click adventure where you'll go to all manner of strange places, meet interesting people, and of course, get into more and more elaborate trouble. The humor here, I enjoyed it, but as a very important point, this is for adults. There is a lot of cursing and adult humor in this one, which I won't be showing you on this for very obvious reasons. But I was getting into this one. The puzzle logic here is going to be kept, at least from the demo, more along lines of find out correct information and then use it, rather than having to collect a bunch of MacGuffins and try and make them work somehow. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see the titular Earth Must Dying part of this game. I am interested to see how far the story as well as the puzzle logic will go in the main one. But if you are an adventure game fan, you don't mind profanity, and looking for another very funny take on the genre, then definitely give this one a try. And for the last game of today's video, we go to Funky Heart. This is a first-person 3D platformer. You play a person who wakes up with no memory and is now Bunny Girl. And in order to figure out why this happened and get back to normal, we're going to have to bunny hop all over the damn place. Our gameplay here is focusing on 3D physics-based platforming, with a key aspect of this is your bunny hop. By holding down the button, you can start infinitely bunny hopping, and as you do so, you'll keep building up momentum. You do have a double jump, and this will allow you to not only increase your horizontal movement, but let you sequence break and get around the myriad of obstacles and platforming you will need to do. This one is definitely aiming to be like a speedrun friendly title, especially with all the ways you can just kind of skip a lot of the challenges or get through them far faster by doing your bunny hopping. However, once you start doing it, you kind of lose that fine control, so good luck if you kind of over or undershoot your target while you're in the middle of a bunny hop. The demo that I played is going to be focusing more on exploration. You have your kind of ability to stop some enemy hazards, but this is not, at least from the demo, a combat-centric game. And I was enjoying this one. The visual design is interesting, and I like kind of how wide the levels are to compensate for the bunny hop, which you can then use to just do some very fun things once you master it. So, if you are a platformer fan, and you remember the days of bunny hopping to and fro, then I would definitely give this one a try. And with that, our second to last part is finally done. We have one more left that's going to include the games that I did not get a chance to play on stream. What were some of your favorite ones from the event, and did I miss one with all this coverage? Be sure to come back real soon for the final part, and then we'll be doing a lot more design talks and of course more indie game coverage at some point in the future. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.